do. What's going on as you all come into the what's up, Roberta? Hey, listen, as you guys come in, hey, drop where you're from, man. It's important. So we can know exactly where everybody is. You know, we're always trying to learn what the followers are and where you are and where you're living. Drop in your state. Okay, I see Texas, I see Richmond, Minnesota, Mississippi, the SIP. Again, make sure you all again as you come through the door, LA, Milwaukee. Good evening from North Carolina. I see y'all. Kentucky, Tampa. What's up, Cali girl from the NO, Virginia, North Carolina. I see you, California. Good, good, good. Okay, Louisiana. Thank you for that. See Michelle, Georgia, North Carolina. Man, we all over the place, right? Jacksonville, y'all making it hard, man. We trying to fix this thing up where we can start making these rounds around the US. What's up, Stanford? I see you, man, out of the borough. Miss Cat, DC, Houston, Texas, Fort Myers, Florida, Cynthia, West Texas. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I guess it is, Jack. It's a good thing, right? I'll count it all as a blessing. I see Brooklyn, New York. Okay, Rose in Millington, Tennessee. I see you right down the road from me, right down the road. Thank you for that, Cali girl. I appreciate you. As y'all come into TikTok, make sure y'all tap the screen, get your daily heartbeat, and actually go ahead and make sure you share this thing out for me. Camden, Arkansas, I see you. Share it out. Share it with your other followers. What's up, lovely Les? Hey, Les, we got to connect, right? We got to connect. So I need to touch base with you. Um, what's up, Tamika? Thank you for joining. Loretta, I see Queens out of New York, Chicago, Illinois. What's up, Sylvia? Yeah, I'm glad you all are joining. Thank you so much. Again, make sure you tap the screen. Of those of you on TikTok, tap the screen for me and make sure you're sharing this thing out with people so we can get more people in the chat. And I appreciate you all for joining. For those of you on the stream, I see that it's dragging a little bit too. Again, don't worry about it. We didn't order this new Wi-Fi, so y'all bear with me. Hopefully we'll be good. They've been really working out here trying to put stuff in the ground, and we already try to order different routers and all kinds of stuff. So y'all bear with me on the stream yard. I promise you things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. Good deal. Thank you for that. I see South Carolina, Florida coming in. Good deal. Yep, TikTok. Y'all keep sharing this thing out and keep tapping the screen. We're in for a good topic tonight. I got some thoughts about a few things that I want to touch base with you on. And I want to hear your thoughts because a lot of times I don't think we're all really thinking about it. But I definitely want your input on it. And let's see where we go. All right, Birmingham, Alabama. Hey, Birmingham. I actually will be in Birmingham coming up this weekend on the bike with my riding club. So, and for those of you, I probably hey Patty Cakes, check that 3700 person on there. That looks like a bot. Get them out of there. I see you in Pennsylvania, Yvonne at T9, T29, TT29. We need, yeah, get them jokers up out of there. Thank you for that. Sykesville, Maryland, Louisiana, Mississippi. Thank you guys. We're gonna give it a few more minutes, and then we're gonna put out their topic, right? We are, make sure you share the live and keep tapping. Thank you, those in TikTok. Tonight, we're going to talk about real connections and what that looks like. I have my own idea about why we're having so many issues with connections. And okay, Betty, another TSU alum. I see you. Tomika, Nashville. I'm right down the road from you. I want to talk about these connections and why we're having such a difficult time with making connections in relationships. And I have my own theory behind that, and I want to share it with you guys. And I want to see where you are. What up, ZT, Georgia? I see Deidre out of Georgia, Pauletta, Dallas, Jonesboro, Georgia. Good deal. Y'all keep coming in on TikTok. Keep sharing it out for me. Yeah, it is alum year, isn't it? I know it. I know it. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you all. Um, I will say this. Thank you all for the continued love and support. Like it actually does my heart good to know that the things that we're doing in these videos, the things that I'm putting together in these videos, that they are. What's up, Cheryl? Long time no see. I that it's meaningful to you guys. You all know that when I do videos, I am always trying to do my best to make sure that I do it from a place where we're addressing men and women, right? Some videos are specific for women, some videos are specific for men, because I believe we both need work, right? We both need work. And so I just want to make sure that we continue to do that, continue to get out the good videos. And thank you also for those of you that have sent me ideas. Like, thank you for sending me ideas on topics that I can put videos together on. Thank you so much for that. And again, and I hope they're helpful. And we're going to continue to do what we're doing because I feel like we're making an impact. I'm also starting to get more people to ask me to come and speak. So listen, if you have an organization, if you have someone, a group that wants to have me come and speak, you can actually book that on the website as well. If you go in there and you say, hey, we need you to come do a speak. We want you to be at a conference. We want you to come out and have conversations at my church group. You can do all that on the website, and that's all you have to do. And it'll come to me and the team, and we'll work it out. We'll do our best to get there. Okay. Yeah, Miss Anonymous. I'm actually thinking about it, but I got to get settled first. In a couple weeks, I will be hopefully going ahead to transition out of here. So I just got to get settled, but I'm going to do it. What up, Benny? All right, listen. All right, thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for tapping the screen, and thank y'all for continuing to share this thing out. Thank you for that, Don. So listen, we're going to talk about real connections tonight. And again, I want you all to be prepared to have the conversation with me, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So hold on just a second. Get my notes ready. And let's see. All right, here we go. Good deal. What's up, Gail? All right, now I see you. So listen, if y'all new here, you already started to drop in where you're from because I like to know exactly where people are from, right? So tonight I want to talk about two things and two topics, but under the one overarching heading of real connections. If it's one thing I've started to notice in social media is that for some reason we've been pushing everybody to get help, right? Hey, go to therapy, go to counseling, do whatever you need to do. But now all of a sudden, what's happened is we've created this therapy culture, and I think what's starting to happen is that this therapy culture has now made us too self-aware, and all of a sudden now we don't want to commit, and we're gonna delve into that. We're also gonna talk about. I get this a lot from individuals that are working, that are dating, and they're trying to find out how long is it they're supposed to wait until somebody actually makes a commitment. Now I know tonight the comments gonna be on fire, and I'm okay with that. I want you to just you drop whatever you want in the comments, but we get ready to get into it. So let me paint you a picture when I say I believe that we're starting to become too aware when it comes to our dating, right? So you meet somebody, they're attractive, they're consistent, they make you laugh, they almost check every box that you want. But then you go home and you start to open your notes and you start looking at social media, and then you start to ask yourself, do I actually like them? Right? Or am I just attached because my anxious attachment style? And all of a sudden, just like that, that person goes from being a great person. Now you're overthinking the relationship. And what I'm saying is that's what therapy culture I think is starting to do to dating. We starting to give people a whole vocabulary. We all have this whole vocabulary now when it comes to intellectualizing your emotions instead of actually feeling them. We used to call it falling in love. Now all of a sudden you call it trauma bonding and you run, right? I'm not saying therapy is bad. What I'm saying, and therapy has saved a lot of lives and probably saved a lot of lives here on this live. And I know therapy was absolutely wonderful for me. But what I'm saying, somewhere between healing and somewhere between growth, we picked up this habit all of a sudden. We started to pick it up and it's getting worse and worse where we're diagnosing our relationships to death instead of taking the time to be in them. So here's my first question. Have you, as you started thinking about dating, or if you're in dating, have you found yourself you're using these therapy terms, boundaries, triggers, and avoidance, but you're using those to justify pulling away from somebody that was actually good for you? Think about it for a moment. As we are using these terms all the time, are you starting to use these terms to keep you from being with somebody? Jacqueline said no. Okay, okay, I got you. Good. That's actually good to hear. No. All right. Why is date over 60 not for the week? Yep. I see somebody says yes. So they're starting to use it. Sharice says she's an overthinker. That's what I'm talking about right there, Sharice. So let me ask you this. Is there a difference? Oh, Vanessa, you took the words out of my mouth. Is there a difference between self-awareness and self-sabotage right now? Think about where we are as it comes to dating, right? Is there a difference between self-awareness and self-sabotage? And if so, what is it? When did all of a sudden I need to work on myself became the most socially acceptable way to reject someone? I can't tell you about the couples that I'm talking to, and they're supposed to be working together. And the one thing that they're saying is, well, I need to work on myself. When in actuality, what they're really saying is that I really don't want to be with this person. That's right, Callie. We get them mixed up all the time, right? We get them mixed up all the time. Think about this for a moment. Before we got into this particular, the therapy culture is what I'm calling it. So my therapists that are on here, don't y'all come at me too hard, right? Before we got into the therapy culture, think about previous generations. Now, do you think that they were happier and in love because they knew less about themselves? Or do you think they were just suppressing everything? Give me your thoughts on that. Think about our mothers, our grandmothers, and our great grandmothers and grandparents. Do you think that previous generations were happier in love because they knew less about themselves? Or were they just suppressing everything? Rhea says suppression. Somebody, Margaret says she believes suppression. Suppress, suppress, suppressing. Okay, okay. So everybody seems to think that they weren't happier, they were suppressing. Monica said both. So as we are going through this healing, somebody said they were in love and happier. I actually would lean toward that because I think they were actually present in their relationship. But again, that's why I'm asking the questions, because I want to hear people's thoughts. But more importantly, I want you to think about where we are as we start today. If your therapist told you that the person you were dating right now, so as we're all going through therapy and we're working on healing, if your therapist tells you that your dating triggers are from your anxious attachment, does that mean that you need to leave that person, or does that mean you need to work with them? I'm gonna say again, if your therapist told you that the person you were dating triggers your anxious attachment, does that mean leave them, or does that mean you should work with them? I want you to think about it. Somebody said they put up with too much crap. Could be both. Yeah. Stella said no, that's a her problem. She need to work with them, right? Jacqueline said work with them. I'm seeing work with them. Okay. They had okay, gotcha. So here's the irony that I want to get into when it comes to us being in the therapy culture, right? The more self-aware you become, the more reasons you actually find not to be with someone. I want you to let that sink in. The more you become self-aware about your more self-aware, the more reasons you actually decide not to be with someone. You tend to start seeing red flags in green flags, right? You start calling love codependency. So at what point does knowing yourself too well become a barrier to actually connecting with someone else? Think about it. At what point does knowing yourself too well start to become a barrier to getting to know someone else? Because boundaries are healthy, but a lot of people out here don't have boundaries. You end up having walls. You dress it, but it's dressed up in therapy language. So all we're hearing is now I need space. I need to protect my peace. Cool. But are you protecting your peace, or are you protecting yourself from being vulnerable? I know. I know that hits some people, right? Are you protecting your peace, Or is it really that you're protecting yourself from being vulnerable to somebody? Because you cannot connect. We are not connecting anymore for some reason. And we talk about why dating is so difficult. It's a lot of it is our fault because we are overdiagnosing and we are so damn self-aware that we can't connect with each other, no one. Because vulnerability, the sheer definition of vulnerability is literally the only way love can work. So how can you confess to be wanting to find love, but you can't be vulnerable? Tell me why. I see people now they're saying they're protecting their peace. But my question is that are you protecting your peace, or are you sitting up here trying to keep yourself from being vulnerable? Therapy culture has also done something else, and I'm gonna get back to the questions. It's actually a sneaky way to avoid accountability. Hear what I'm saying? People nowadays are starting to say, instead of saying I was wrong, people now say I was triggered. Instead of saying I gave up, they now say, well, I chose myself. The language sounds healthy. The language sounds wonderful, but sometimes it's really just an exit strategy with good branding. Do you understand what I'm saying? So listen, I'm going to stop for a minute because I got a few questions. Stand by because I wrote some good ones. So here we go. When did, again, I need to work on myself, become the most acceptable way to reject somebody? If you need to process every every emotion before responding to your partner, are you emotionally mature or are you emotionally unavailable, but you got good behavior? Is there a version, and I really want some answers to this one, is there a version of self awareness that actually makes you more selfish in relationships, not less? Millie said that's a fucked up excuse. It is. Right. Y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it out in TikTok. Again, is there a version when you think about you being self-aware? Is there a version that tends to really make you, when you think about it, is it making you more selfish in relationships or less? I see more selfish. I see less. People say that's emotional immaturity. I see selfish. I see more selfish. Yep. Keep tapping the screen, keep sharing it. I see less. Okay. So as I'm Harper, if you hang on, I'm getting there. If you're thinking about where we are now in this therapy, because the whole thing, Harper, is about connections, and we're not making connections. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of why is it that all of a sudden we're actually giving more excuses than we are making connections. So when someone says I'm still healing, is I'm still healing a legitimate reason to keep someone waiting? Or is it a way to have companionship without responsibility? I'm gonna ask again. We use the word I'm still healing, right? Is that a legitimate reason to keep someone waiting? Or is it a way to have companionship without responsibility? Somebody says it's an excuse. No, I see both. Somebody said they're emotionally available, companionship without responsibility, right? Because I know, wow, Natasha said, wow. Oh, you said you get it. Okay, Harper. Right. Companionship without responsibility. Because I find it odd in relationships. People will literally say, I'm still healing, but you're still in the relationship. So to me, you're trying to enjoy the fruits of the relationship without committing to the relationship. So if healing is a lifelong journey, then does the word I need to heal before I date actually have an end date? We hear that a lot. I'm healing. I'm still healing. I'm holding off on that. So, do you need to heal before you date? And then, when exactly is the damn end date? Somebody said, then you need to get out the damn dating pool, right? ZT Hill says the coward's way out. I just rather be alone. I'm healed. I got it. Okay. Y'all keep tapping to keep sharing it out. Right. Yes, exactly. And that's not cool. And that's exactly what I'm saying. So, because I want us to be cognizant of the fact that I hear a lot of people, you're talking to people, right? And they're using all of these terms, right? They're losing all of these therapy terms, but they're doing it so they don't have to commit in a certain way. If you pay attention to what they're saying, but they still want the benefit of the relationships, right? So when does having strong boundaries, there's another question. Thank you, Elaine. Strong actually signal that you're not ready for intimacy, right? So people talk about their boundaries a lot. And you talk about the boundaries. These are my boundaries and these are my standards. But when do they tell you? How do you know you're not ready for intimacy? At what point are you opening up your boundary in order to connect? Because boundaries tend to be one sided. That's right. I say we're not totally healed. I agree. Somebody say heal first before you bleed on someone that didn't cause you harm. Sheila, I agree with you. However, how do they know they're healed before dating? How do they know they're healed before dating? Okay, Calvia says she ain't gotten far like that. You haven't gotten that far yet. I get it. Absolutely right. Hey, here's this other question because somebody keeps saying boundaries, boundaries. My question about boundaries is, do you think the boundary conversation is one way? Listen to what I'm saying. Do you think the boundary conversation is one way where one person tends to set the boundary and the other person just has to automatically accept it? No. Mika said no. Somebody says perspective shifts when you start to date. We both love the benefits. We are slowly getting by with talking. You don't? No. No. So my question is, you all say no, that you don't think boundaries are one way. If you set your boundaries, let me ask you this. If you set your boundaries, are you actually trying to partnership with that person in order to work through some? Because they could easily have been set because of your past, right? So how is it that a new person is supposed to get through the boundaries and the walls that you have to try to truly date you? Brother said boundaries are for both. Expound on that for me. I agree with you, but I'm trying to understand. Tell me why. Carol said, no, you don't have to automatically accept their boundaries. You're right. You can actually walk away. Somebody said, yep, it has to be communicated. I agree with you, Cassandra. Everybody should have boundaries, but I'm trying to make sure we understand. Sometimes you can have boundaries and walls so high that the person can't get over or get through it. And then you'll be the first person to say, well, I'm not dating anybody. I can't meet anybody. That's what I'm saying. Boundaries are, Dr. A said, boundaries are for the person setting them. If the other person is interested in the person setting boundaries, they'll respect the boundaries. I agree with you completely, Dr. Adrian. I do. We both should have boundaries. Stella said then they need to go somewhere and sit down. Not you, Dr. Anna. I was talking about Dr. Adrian. I got two Dr. A's on here. So let me ask you this as we're talking about boundaries. I got another question, then I want to go back into the lesson. Listen, if your partner asks you to change a habit, right? Not a boundary, but a habit that bothers them. At what point is that a boundary violation versus just a normal relationship request? I'm going to ask again. If your partner asks you to change a habit that bothers them, is that a boundary violation or is that a normal relationship request? Amir says she open to a new connection. You'll communicate it. Some Anna say you need to talk with each other. Anna Braxton, talk with each other or what you would like and not like. You're right. Somebody said no. Somebody said it's a boundary violation. Habits can change, right? A new request, a normal relationship request, boundary violation, normal request. Y'all keep tapping on TikTok and sharing the live out for me. Boundary violation, normal request. Carol said you need to communicate. Okay, Shimon, you said that depends on if it's a soft boundary or non-negotiable. Okay, I like the direction that you took into that. Soft boundary or non-negotiable. Okay, Tamika, you said if you have to say it more than once, expound on that for me. Stella said it's just pillow talk. That's right, Carolyn. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. A lot of times you don't even know you need to heal from something until you're in a relationship with somebody. Absolutely. Because that's the only time that things can be tested, correct? Have we gotten to the point though, when we get to talking about red flags, that we see red flags in everything because of the internet and social media? We starting to see red flags and green flags, right? We say, wow, he's a great communicator, but he don't text enough. He talks well, but I don't get enough text from him. So that's a red green flag, right? He seems to be a great provider, but I have an issue with what he does for a living. So kind of a red green flag. Have we gotten to the point that even our green flags have to always have some semblance of red in them? Is that fair? Huh? We talked about narcissism last week, right? Is that the new way of avoiding the fact that the relationship didn't work? There is no perfect person. You're right. I see exactly what you're saying. Dr. Perry says she don't want all them texts. Call me. She need to hear his voice. That's right, Mike. Use that. Use that. That's what I'm asking. Right? It's a real question. Think about what I'm saying. Right? Is calling someone a narcissist the new way of avoiding the fact that the relationship didn't work? I know none of us are perfect. I agree. But is that is that the new way of saying it? Communication is the key. I think so. Yes, sometimes. I get it. Listen, I know I got y'all thinking. I can tell by the way you're responding. And that's good. There's absolutely nothing with that. That's what I want. You're supposed to communicate. The term is used too loosely. Absolutely, Red Riding Hood. That's what I'm saying. You're right. We're starting to lose humanity, which is why we can't have the connection anymore. That's what's happening. And that's what I'm trying to get to. Okay. Here's something else I want to do though while we're talking about connection, because I also want to switch gears a little bit from the therapy culture. So now that we've addressed the therapy culture, we know that we're starting to use those buzzwords. Like Shimon said, we're using those buzzwords, and a lot of times we're using them to either avoid communication, we're avoiding connection by using those buzzwords, right? We're avoiding relationships because we want to pull away from these individuals, right? And so what I want to do is now let's switch. I want to switch over the topic. Thank you so much for that, Caligari and Miss Frank. Right. So let's switch gears. But this is actually going to hit everything that we talked about. I'm still talking about communication. I asked you a question earlier. I said, when I first started this thing, is that because we're losing connection, what's also happening is that people are in relationships, but nobody is committing, right? Thank y'all for tapping and sharing it out. Keep doing so. Nobody is committing. If someone is not ready to commit to you and you have spent time and effort with them, they're never going to be ready. Not for you, and definitely not in the way you actually need. So before y'all start saying, I know everybody moves different, I do agree. But there's a difference between pace and stalling when it comes to being in a relationship. And for those of you that's been stuck in these long situationships, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's my question. Remember, I talk a lot of times that I say timing for me means absolutely nothing. Again, y'all know I did a video last week. I said, if I meet somebody today and pop out Sunday married, mind your business, right? So let's talk about this thing when it comes to timing and spending time with people and you're spending your effort with people, and all of a sudden that person does not want to commit, right? Let's go to it. What tell me exactly when someone is with you, and I don't say, let's say 6 months, right? Tell me exactly what do you think people are waiting on Why are they saying if you're with somebody for 6 months that, you know, they're not sure yet about you, or they're not sure about us, or they're not ready to commit? What does that really mean to you if you heard that? What up, Black Phoenix? Right? What does that mean? If you're with somebody for 6 months and they say they're not ready to commit, well, I don't want to put a label on it. What do they mean? Tammy said they still fishing. Millie said that's excuses. Dr. Anna said they looking for the next best thing. Right. They're not very serious. Right. You have to be able to turn when someone is wasting your time. You're right, Red Riding Hood. David said marriage. Say they don't want you. They're not ready. They considering their options. I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. They tell me they're not the right one. They don't like you. As Penny says, it's not real. That's right. They're not ready. You were never their choice. I love it. They playing games. They could be scared. I get it. They could be scared. But again, I don't think it takes anybody longer than that amount of time to know if they want to be with you or not. I agree, because it does not take that long. Let me ask y'all this. Have you ever waited on somebody? Again, I'm just going to stick with the 6 months. Have y'all ever waited on somebody longer than 6 months to commit and it actually worked out? Or did you just get comfortable with being uncomfortable? Sweet Tea said, hey, 6 months, you better give me some direction. Yep, I see no. I see no. Somebody said they were confused. You were the option, not the choice. I agree. No. Somebody said they dated someone else. Lavelle said yes. Okay, to me, you said after 4 months, but I said after 6, right? Oh, Chasing Sunset said she was in high school, right? Nope, didn't work. That's what I'm saying, right? Somebody said they believe there are levels. I got you. I get it. I believe that too. Somebody said they want access, not the commitment. That's right. Red right here said out the gate, not dating. There you go. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay, no problem. It is the word when somebody says, I'm ready. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Is that a feeling or is that a choice? Because I think for most people, it's a choice that they're trying to disguise as a feeling. So again, when somebody says, I'm ready, do you think that that's a feeling or a choice? Red Riding Hood says she believes it's both. I see choice. Victoria, listen, you that's a rarity. She gave somebody 10 months and they've been married for 24 years. Yep. Both. Y'all say it's a feeling and a choice. Feeling and choice. I see choice. 5 years waited, married, 35. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. If you waited 5 years and got married and been married for 45, absolutely. I see it's a choice. I see it's both. Choice. I see both. The right person test. How about this? Here's gonna be the most honest thing I can say about this whole choice, this timing, a person choosing you, a person that's spending time and in your space. Listen, when somebody says, I'm not ready for a relationship, what they usually mean is that they're not ready for a relationship with you. Now, barring somebody that just got out of a marriage, a bad relationship, or any of that stuff, if somebody tells you and you've been dating and they tell you they're not ready for a relationship, that means they're not ready for a relationship with you. Because hear me and hear me for real. If the right person, someone that they was crazy about, showed up tomorrow, I guarantee you suddenly they'll be ready. The timing would be perfect. Think about what I'm saying. Think about how many people you've seen on social media. They've been dating somebody for years, and all of a sudden they date somebody for 3 months and they together. Think about that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that people will get involved with you and waste your damn time, and we'll allow it to happen. That's why I always say a situationship, that's something that you actually participate in. You choose to be in a situationship. Listen to what I'm saying. You choose to be in a situationship. If somebody's dating you and they have not proclaimed exactly what you all are, and you allow that to go to 7 month, 8 month, you officially in a situationship. You allowed that to happen, right? Am I tell me I'm lying? A situationship don't happen to you. You in it. I'm not judging, but I'm asking you to own the fact that you actually allow yourself to be in a situationship. And now I'm gonna tie it back to therapy culture because this is important before I get into these other questions that I want to drop on y'all. Because people are now starting to use, they have an avoidant attachment style, right? As a reason that they want to stay in a situation that isn't working. Oh, I got an avoidant attachment. They have an avoidant attachment style. That's why that's why he doesn't want to commit. So now you didn't therapeutically set yourself up to excusing someone for not choosing you. I've had 3 conversations last week, and they all said the same thing. They said, "Well, he has that, he's they're unavoided attachment style, so he's not ready to commit." So you're gonna give this person an excuse to not choose you? That's not healing. You rationalizing, you allowing that person to do and say what they want to do. They are happy. That's right, lovely. That's modernized BS. You allowing them to treat you in that way? That's your fault. That's exactly your fault if you allow that to happen. Now, I know some of y'all gonna say, again, what about people in bad relationships need more time? I get that. And I said earlier, right? Right. You said because he cute, right? But here's the distinction. Needing some time to trust is different than needing time to decide. Y'all hear what I said? Needing some time to develop trust for someone is so different than needing time to decide. Lakeisha, I know you say she felt it. I'm with you, sister. If after a set amount of time, again, 6 months is what I like to use, that's your answer. That is your answer. If that person didn't take the time to say, hey, this is what we are, or here's what I'm doing, or here's what I want us to do, then guess what? That is your answer. At that point, you officially in a situationship. You passed the relationship. You're past the relationship. And I need y'all to start adhering to that. I need you to start paying attention, especially for those of you that out here that are dating. That's important. All right. So listen, I seen a couple of y'all tell me that sometimes it takes longer than 6 months to get to know somebody. Make your case for me. Tell me why it takes more than 6 months to know if you want to be with somebody. I'll wait. Was dating. Tell me. Tell me why it takes more than 6 months for somebody to know if they want to be with you. What's up, honeydew? Patty Cake said 90 days. Lavelle says she don't think it does. Miss Kim, you right, you hear me? I'll wait. Tell me. It shouldn't, but it is. What up, Jacob? Somebody said if it take that long, it won't happen. John A said, I don't think it should take longer than 6 months. You know what? Even if it's a long distance relationship, you don't need more than that. Come on now, y'all. We grown. We're not in high school. There is absolutely no way. You know pretty quickly what you want to do with somebody. And Sharice, he probably was. It does if they're playing. What do you mean? Yep, we too grown. That's right. That's what I'm telling you. We older. Okay. Trina, you said, yeah, it can. What up, frat? Yep, it can happen. Listen, I'm telling you, I've met people that have met one day and the next week they are together. So you can't tell me that it takes longer than 6 months. I was waiting on somebody to justify it, but nobody did. We're gonna keep on moving. What's more dangerous? What's more dangerous right now? Someone who knows nothing about themselves or someone who knows too much? Think about this when I talked about the therapy culture. Someone that doesn't know anything about themselves or somebody on the other side that knows too much. Which one you think is more dangerous? Patty said both. Kamika said they equal problems. Nothing about themselves. That's right, Les. After 6 months married for 20 years, it happens all the time. Somebody said nothing about themselves. Dated for 8 months and got married. There you go. Both. I see both. Both are dangerous. Okay. It could be. Absolutely, Carol. I agree. I just wanted to know what everybody thought about it. Can you ever, can you ever be healed enough for a relationship? Because we're still talking about these connections. Can you ever be healed enough for a relationship? Or is healing something that you actually need to do with your partner? Now, remember, I did a video on I believe you can heal together, but not everybody does. But can you be healed enough, ready to go into a relationship? Or can you heal with a partner? Shanika, both, right? Heal together. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually think, Michelle Mitchell, you said it depends. I'm going to tell you, people say both together. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually think it works better with a partner. Right. Your partner can't heal you. You're right, they can support you. But my question is always going to be, if you're healing alone, how do you know that you're healed? Right? If you're healing alone, how do you know that you're healed? How can you ever test the fact if you're healed if you're not around somebody? You're not putting the responsibility on them. I'm saying, but how do you know? Cindy, you're right, you don't. And that's what I'm saying. You can do therapy work, you can spend time meditating, you can do everything you need to do for yourself, but how do you know that you're healed if you're not in a relationship with somebody to test the fact that you're healed? Correct, Shannon. That's what I'm saying. Civil right. Like, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know. You have no idea. And that's what I'm saying. We're hearing all this stuff on social media and we're going into these relationships with the idea that I'm 100% now. I'm ready to go. And then you get in a relationship and you realize all that work that you say you did, all the things that you think you addressed, all of a sudden now that they're being put to the test, you realize you weren't as healed as you thought you were, right? Here's what I want to say though. I just want to know, are you growing towards love? Or are we at the point where we're intellectualizing ourselves away from it, right? We should be growing towards love. Growth, as we grow, it's supposed to make us better at loving people, not more skilled at finding reasons not to, right? We find more and more reasons not to love somebody, not to connect with somebody, right? Than we do for reasons finding it, getting together. We should be growing towards love, not actually trying to always find a reason not to have it. I get that nobody wants to be hurt. None of us wants to be hurt. But guess what? Unfortunately, that's the act of being vulnerable. That is the chance we take with being vulnerable in any relationship. There's always a possibility that you can be hurt, but there's also the possibility that you won't be and that you'll find your person and that you'll fall completely in love with that person and move on. Tamika, question. What do you mean you can't be vulnerable too fast? What's the time frame? Do we have to be with somebody a month before we can be vulnerable? Do you have to be with them 2 months before you can be vulnerable? How long does it take for a person to decide to be vulnerable? Help me heal, I help him. That's right, Dr. Theory. I love that. Right? That's right. The possibility of pain is always there. That's right, Audrey. That's right. Mama said, fall off a horse, get back up. Tamika, you say you can't share too much. You got to build trust first. I got you. Yeah. You're absolutely supposed to build trust. But to be honest, on the front end, in order to build trust, don't you think you have to share a little bit of vulnerability? Right? Everybody keeps saying when trust is established. When is trust established? How do you know when is trust established? That's what I'm saying. Don't you have to be a little bit vulnerable to establish trust? Because a person can't get to know you intellectually, emotionally, if you're not being a little bit vulnerable, guys. And see, that goes back to what I said about your boundaries. Some of you guys have so many boundaries and walls up, you can't establish your trust because you're not willing to be vulnerable. So you never make the connection. Right? Who you say he has to set the temperature for that, and you have to set it for him as well, right? It's mutual. It's mutual. Okay. Millie said the minute she feels safe, that's when trust is established for her. And I know it's different from everybody, and I get women being cautious. You're supposed to be cautious. I'm not knocking you all from that. Even from a protective standpoint, I want you all to be safe when it comes to these relationships and getting to know people. But what I'm saying is that you can't completely get to know anybody if you're not sharing a little bit of vulnerability every day, every time you communicate, every time you connect. It is scary, Latoya. It is, but all relationships are scary. That's the only way you get a chance to see and connect and think about what happens, how beautiful it is when people start to open up, right? But here's my thing in this day and age, because we are listening to social media so much, people are automatically being closed off, right? So, ladies, if you're sitting over here closed off completely, but over here you want a man to be vulnerable with you, but he's closed off because he's fearful, or he's waiting on you to try to help him create this space so he can be vulnerable, and you're waiting on him to make you feel secure in order for you or to establish some trust, and nobody's sharing anything. We can't connect. Goes back to my original point. We cannot connect at all whatsoever. And that's the problem. That's the problem right now where we are. A lot of us have been to therapy. A lot of people have been to therapy, but a lot of us didn't do the work. Listen to what I'm saying. A lot of us have been to therapy. A lot of us didn't do the work. So instead of asking a person, hey, have you been to therapy? Have you gone to therapy? What you need to be asking is, did you do the work? Did you do the work when you were in therapy? Not if you've been to therapy. Because you know, a lot of people go places and they don't do nothing but pay attention. They just there so they can check a box. Let's find out if they did the work, right? Have we created a generation that no longer wants to connect, but just wants to benefit from one another? Are we at that point now? Everybody wants the benefits, but they don't want to work. Yes, I see. Yes. Yep. Yes. That's the question. That's right, Sandra. You asked, did you do the work? Not if you went to therapy. Here's my other question, because I have a lot of people talk about toxicity. I'm seeing that on both streams. So if everybody you dated has been toxic, at what point do you become the common denominator? I want everybody tonight that's on here. I want you to think about your last three relationships. Your last three relationships that you've had. If you can say in your last three relationships that they were toxic, you the common denominator. You are the common denominator. Because we use the word toxic too generally. Has it been so overused now that we're also using it to lock on people that are flawed and just human? You say you don't believe that, Red Riding Hood? Yep, because you allowed it, Tamika. Thank you. So Red Riding Hood, you telling me if you dated the last three people and they were toxic, you don't think you the common denominator? Then why is it that you would date? Why is it that everybody you dated is toxic? That's my point. Is this slick therapy? Did you see that, Dr. Perry? Leave me alone. I'm trying to do it. That's right. The light always attracts darkness. I agree with you chasing sunsets, right? The light does attract darkness. We're not what we attract, we're what we entertain, right? So, yes, you can attract toxic people all day, but if you decide to entertain them, you are the common denominator. Is that not true? Right? Yeah. If you entertain toxic people, you are the common denominator. The light, you're right, light always attracts darkness. I agree. Is it possible though that some people, when it comes to emotional availability, right? Is it possible that people that have been labeled as emotional unavailable, they was just responding to us being too intense? We use that word a lot. They're emotionally unavailable, right? They're emotionally unavailable. Okay, bro. They're emotionally unavailable. And if they're emotionally unavailable, was that really though just them responding to us being too intense because we are available, right? It's the pressure that we're putting on them to try to hope that they will be where we are, right? That's right. You are who you entertain. When it comes to love, when it comes to love, can you think your way into love? Or does love almost require you to turn your brain off sometimes? Think about love. Can you think your way into love with someone? I know you did, Cali girl. That's it. That's why we on here taking care of each other. They will. You're right. Somebody said with love, you have to turn your mind off. Mitchell says heavy, huh? That's right. You have to turn your mind off. Sometimes you have to turn your brain off when it comes if you really want true love, right? They say sometimes you have to turn your brain off. Nope. Yeah, I wish they were too, Deshelle. I wish more men would be on here and saying love is from the heart, thinking is from the mind. That's right. Thinking may cause you to overthink, and it does. You can turn your brain off, turn it off, right? I know. Sometimes, Safety, that's right. You have to turn your brain off. Here's some other things I want to say to you guys. If a relationship, thinking and love can happen at the same time, you're right, Red Riding Hood, absolutely. I'm not saying they can't. I wasn't saying that at all. I was just asking the question, right? Learn on discernment. Let's lean on discernment. You're right. If a relationship requires constant analysis, if you're in your relationship and you constantly have to analyze it, well, is it really a relationship or is it a project? Right? Sometimes these things that we are in are not even relationships, they projects because you continue to work on them on a regular basis and you don't have the same kind of participation on the other side. You know, something else I've heard from a couples. They asked me this question. They said, project, I see project. You think you get a lot of projects? I see headache projects, projects. See, people, and I know y'all ain't doing nothing but reflecting. You reflecting on these relationships. You like, damn, he's right. I've been dealing with a lot of projects. See what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Do y'all think love, when we talk about love, is love supposed to feel easy, or are we being sold a fantasy that makes real relationships feel like failures? Right? So I want you to think about this, right? Everything you see on social media, oh, I love, 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 love. And the only time you see couples out there and all you see is these great things. They don't have anything negative. You didn't see that they just whooped on each other before they came on the camera, before they did the video, right? Right. That's right. But what's happening is that they're depicting real relationships like they're failures. So if people have disagreements, have an argument, right? Don't get along on something. They try to make that seem like a failed relationship. And that's what I'm saying. And I'm glad I'm seeing this. Y'all saying we're being sold that fantasy. That's right. Being sold a fantasy out here. You're right, Red Riding Hood. We make them complicated. They're not that complicated. Corey said that's all fake love. That's not real. Relationships can be hard work. That's right. If you're with someone, and I hear this all the time, and I have my own thoughts, but I want yours. If you're with someone, Rachel, you said social media, absolutely, because people are literally going to therapy on social media for their relationships. If you're with someone and you're making a pros and cons list, whether to stay with them, is that wisdom for you, or is that a sign that you've already emotionally left? I'm gonna say it again. If you're with someone and you need to make a pros and cons list and trying to decide if you should stay with them, do you consider that wisdom, or have you already emotionally left? Red Riding Hood said it's both. Stella said you didn't check out. Monica said love takes a lot. Monica says love takes a lot of strain. Felicia said that's wisdom. Lovely Leah said you didn't mentally checked out. It's a sign you're gone. Already emotionally left. Hey, get dude doctor. He talking about paying rent. Somebody said emotionally left. Right? Emotionally left. It could be both. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. Right? That's why I'm asking the question. Let me do this puzzle real quick. Good deal. Somebody said wisdom. Somebody said you are already gone. We use the word emotional intelligence a lot. We use it a lot. Somebody said they gone. Tamika said she gone. She ain't even doing a list. Is emotional intelligence actually making us worse at tolerating the beautiful messiness of loving somebody? Did y'all hear what I said? Is emotional intelligence actually making us worse at tolerating the beautiful messiness of loving somebody? Yes, I see no. I see yes. I see no. Yep, somebody said it is. Kamika, you said that's deep. It's something to think about though, in the Kamika. That's right. Yep. Denise said no. I see yes. I want y'all to just think about it. It can complicate things. That's right. That's absolutely right. Because here's the thing. I think what's happening though when it comes to relationships is that guys, we expecting everything to be perfect. And love in itself is not perfect. There is nothing perfect about love. It can be an absolutely beautiful thing, right? But it's not perfect. We are two imperfect people trying to make as perfect of a union as we can, right? So it's not going to be perfect. But I think we're so caught up in all of these buzzwords and terms, we expect it to be perfect. And love is a beautiful mess. It is a beautiful mess, but it's always going to be work, right? I got to get back to this timing, and I want to ask y'all this because we good. We at the top of the hour. If you've been dating somebody, if you've been spending time with somebody over a year, and y'all have no title, you have no title. You decided not to. You don't have a title at this point, right? What story are you telling yourself to make that seem like it's okay? Dr. Perry, you right. Listen, I'm about to be 55. They better come more than halfway already. I can work with the back end though. Ask y'all again. If you dating somebody, I'm gonna say, okay, well, Chase the Sun says ask for clarity. You said dating or courting. So Chase the Sun says, I think after you date, dating should be a short amount of time before you transition into courting. So I'm gonna say this then: if you're courting somebody or someone is courting you for over a year, you have no kind of title. What story are you telling yourself that makes that okay? Somebody said a year we should be exclusive with a title and a plan. I agree. Wendy, that's a good question. I'm just Monica said I'm just here. I quit. It's not okay. Somebody said they living in the drum saying, but what is the person telling themselves? Okay. Chasing Sun said if we're not married, we single. So you just single occupying each other's space. It's not okay. Somebody said that's a red flag. Somebody, Shell said no story. She ain't waiting around that long for a title. We gonna have a title on the first week. Victoria said, courting over here with no title is a whole lie. You're settling. You're settling. Delusional. Time to stop and let it go. Here's my question. Not only what are you telling yourself, what do you think you're telling the other person that you're involved with for that amount of time without a real commitment? What do you think you're telling them? Shannon says it's fine if you both are happy. Absolutely. But as long as that discussion has happened, hey, we ain't gonna have no title. We just gonna occupy each other's space. I'm good with that. Somebody say, yep, it's okay to be played with. You can disregard my feelings. That's right. That's what I'm saying. So now we single. You go to your house, I'm going to mine. Somebody said, what if you've been married twice and don't want to get married again? That's great. As long as that conversation is up front and everybody understands where they are. Lovely said that's friends with benefits. Chasing Sunset said, yep, you're an option. Time to have a conversation. That's okay. It'll never change. I'm trying to make you think, Belinda. That's what this is about. Do you believe that there's a person out there that can make even the most commitment phobic person want to lock them down immediately? We use the word that person. That's my person. I believe you're my person, right? So do you believe there's that person out there that can make even the person that's the most commit phobic person, they'll go ahead and lock it down? They say, hell yeah, yes, I do. Here's another one that I tend to get a lot too. I see, yes, yes, okay. Yeah, I do believe that if a person tells you they're not ready, that just means they're not ready for you. You're not their person at that point, right? Have you ever been with somebody though that everybody has a twin flame? Okay, Chase Sun says it's a twin flame. Have you ever been with someone that wasn't ready for you, and then you watch them all of a sudden be ready for the next person? I'm talking about almost immediately, right? They with you for months and they don't want to commit. They leave you and 2 months later they with somebody else. Anybody ever been involved in that kind of situation? Let's say I sure did. Yes, yes. Stella said, yep, just a placeholder. You're right. That's what I'm saying. Yep. Mike said, yep, it didn't feel good. Right. It happens. Shanika said, yep, that shit hurt. Absolutely. That just means you weren't their person. And it also means that your person is still out here if you hadn't already met them. I see nope. TikTok, y'all keep tapping it and share it out. Chase Sunset said, broke her whole heart. Stella says a shitty feeling. Oh, Demetri said she didn't want to go to 201 Poplar. For those of you that don't know, in Memphis, that's the jail. So when we're talking about these connections, right? Why do we always believe that we will be the exception to someone's pattern, right? When the pattern is the most reliable information we have. You literally see somebody's pattern. You've seen how they've done with other relationships. You've watched how they move. Why is it that we always believe that we're going to be the exception? I know it's something to think about. I hear it all the time. Why do we believe we're that person? We automatically believe we're that person. Somebody said she with somebody 10 months past playing games. Why do we? Yep. Real T, you said, yeah, that's the story we tell ourselves. And that's what I'm talking about. Miss Sunshine, you said because it's a challenge. But here's the thing: you can't change somebody that want to be changed, right? You can't change. Somebody said we're empaths, right? Tip said delusional. I don't. Somebody said it's wishful. It happens more often than not. I hear it all the time. People saying that, oh, I'm gonna be the one. I'm different. I'm different. But if that person has shown you who they are, believe them. What happens is we start to make up a different story in our heart, and we stop thinking with our minds when it comes to individuals, right? We good? I see, yep, correct, absolutely. I'm not wasting my energy. We must believe it when they show who we are. Do y'all think when we were talking about situationships that people tend to stay longer in those because there's no formal breakup, just a slow fade, right? You in a situationship, all of a sudden you just stop talking. Do you think people stay in those longer because of that? Because there's no real commitment? Somebody say, yes, I'm just over it. I'm done. Women's are nurturers. Yeah, I believe we can fix anything. You're right. Yep, you do. As you grow, you're supposed to see things. Yep, no responsibility. That's right. That's what I'm saying. And because there's no one else to replace them, correct. A lot of people are doing it just because you said for me, because they don't want to be alone. And you tolerate it more. You deal with it more. You're okay with it happening. Somebody said they ain't putting up with that no more. That's right. They feel safe, Jen Lee. She said that they feel safe. So when you think about situationships versus relationships, I already know the answer. Who's getting more out of it? The person in the situationship or the relationship? We already know, right? We know who gets more out of it. Situationship versus relationship. Who do you think's getting more out of it? Somebody said neither one. The situationship. Leah said the situationship. Relationship person. Brenda says. Which one? The situationship person or the relationship person? Neither. Situation, right? Appreciate your happy go lucky. Situationship, right? Relationship, Patty says. Okay. Margaret says him. Situationship or relationship? Because somebody getting all benefits. Thank you for that, Stella. And they don't have none of the accountability. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Somebody said both are losing. I see both. Situationship. Somebody said the man. Why it's gotta always be the man? Huh? Relationship because they're having their cake and eating it too. It depends on what the person values. I see what you're saying, chasing sunsets. It depends on what they value. Somebody said situationship. Tamika said a person that didn't set boundaries is benefit. Situationship, 50-50 on everything. Say the situationship gets all the perks with no actual responsibility. So I want to start winding this thing down because I got some other questions I want y'all to do. And these are more reflective questions, right? I want y'all to be honest when it comes to as you're thinking about relationships and as you're actually working through trying to build. Be honest with yourself. Are you healing or are you hiding? Think about where you are. I don't know, Dr. Pierre, why they kept saying the man. Think about where you are when it comes to relationships. Are you healing or are you actually hiding? Paige said, I'm hiding. I see healing. Dr. Anna said both. I see healing. I see hiding. Janae said she's hiding. Somebody said healing most definitely, right? Hiding, I see healing. I see both. Somebody said they seeking reality. I see both. I'm healing and I'm done shrinking. I see healing and hiding. Okay. Healing is hard. It is. It's work. It's work. They said no relationship at this time. It's a constant state of healing and ready to come out of hiding. I got you. Millie says she out here trying. Say a little bit of hiding to ensure your healing is maintained. I like it. Yep, I see both. All right. So what's lonelier? What is lonelier? Is it being single or being in a situationship? Now, mind you, guys, I'm talking about these things, but I'm not knocking a situationship if everybody's on the same page. But what I'm asking is, what's lonelier for you? Is it being single or is it lonelier being in a situationship? I see situationship. We need to be able to admit we want the children, not the relationship. Okay. Situationship because you're not totally satisfied. I see both. I see both. I see situationship, relationships. For me being in a situationship, I got you. Both. Situationship. Because they can be lonely. Somebody's having their cake, they eating it too. No real commitment. Situationship. Here's another one because I know a lot of y'all, when it comes to those of you that are in relationships, some of you are in some really, really strange and unique relationships, right? Here's my question for you. If your best friend was in the same relationship that you're in right now, what would you tell them to do? Think about where you are in your relationships, in these relationships. And I'm not saying all of them are bad, but what I am asking is that if your friend was in the same relationship as you, what would you tell your best friend? I see run, run. Buba says she has zero friends. I see run, run. Holly Lopes. That's right. Lopez, that's good, right? Somebody said get out. Deanna said she got dogs, so she ain't worried about it. I see run. Protect your heart. Go. Run far as run. Think about it. Say remain in peace to your boogie here. Protect your peace. I see bail. Right. Think about that. Some Cynthia said her best friend ain't going for it. Single, but yeah. Ask her if she's happy. If not, leave. Protect your peace. For a lot of us that have done the healing, right? A lot of us that have done the healing. Is it possible? Is it possible that your healing journey has made you a more difficult partner, not a better one? Vet thoroughly and don't ignore the red flags. Right. Again, is it possible that your healing journey has made you a more difficult partner and not a better one? Carol said possibly. Somebody said yes. I see both. Right. I see yes. I see a better person. Somebody said sometimes. TPA say it's possible. Cali girl say yep. She more critical. Deborah says she difficult. Okay. Red Bone Love say she's no. Candace say yes, but she has boundaries. Dr. Perry said yes for her. Again, these are reflection questions because I want you to think about where you are. Somebody said open my eyes to be a better person. No, but it's made me put up with less. Absolutely. For those of you that have taken the time to go through therapy and work on yourself, right? What's the one thing you learned as you went through your healing? What's the one thing you learned in therapy? What's the one thing that you learned in coaching that actually made dating harder, not better, but harder? As you've gone through your healing journey, gone through therapy, gone through coaching, what's the one thing you learned either about you or dating that makes it harder? Deborah says, trust her instincts. Somebody said, be patient. Melinda says, stop shrinking. I like that. Higher standards and lower expectations. Somebody said set boundaries and stick to them. Anita said she don't have to settle. Right. Cherie said put herself first. Jackie said put herself first. Terry said show up consistently. Trust. Lisa Marie said boundaries. I love it. 5 months out and not dating. Stand 10 toes down on your boundaries and standards. My feelings matter. Discernment. That I need to speak up sooner. Like that Cali girl. Stop being so trusting. Chiquita said commit to keeping boundaries. Henny said pay attention to details. Don't lose yourself with no one, Darlene said. Standing firm on boundaries. Stella said be vulnerable. I love it. Cassandra, pairing equally or more evolved person is the hard part. I get it. Beatrice said don't compare. Kim says she asked for communication, but she don't communicate much. Kim, we got to work on that. Sheila said be true to her values. I love it. Be overstepped. Be confident in your choices. That's what I'm talking about. Renee said, remember what I'm seeking. Absolutely, sister. Love is patient, understanding, and communication. Sheila said she ain't selling for less. She just have to wait on God. Foxy Cal said, be blunt. Do you think people, when you talk to people and they learn, she'll say she stopped shrinking for others out. Beautiful. Do you think people who say, I don't need a relationship to be happy are telling the truth, or are they just performing independence? When people say, I don't need a relationship, do you think they're telling the truth? Are they performing independence? Think about that for a moment. Somebody said truth, somebody said no. Can be both. Dr. Pearson, she ain't loving nobody more than herself. I see both. For some, I don't think they're telling the truth. Both. Some people may be telling the truth. Michelle says she feel they're telling the truth. No problem, Letitia. No problem. Can be both. A little of both. I didn't say you needed a relationship to be validated. What I said is, do you think they're telling the truth that they don't need a relationship? Or are they performing? Some people say they're performing. They hiding from themselves. If you I would love to be in a relationship, but I refuse to settle. Yep. I'm not wanting you to settle. Love me said performing. Somebody said truth. I know for me, I want to be in a relationship. I need to be in a relationship. I think as a man, we are much better men when we have a woman in our life. That's my own personal opinion. Not everybody has to subscribe to it. But I do think we do wonderful things apart, but I think we always better together. And I think that's important. What's a more honest statement, right? What's a more honest statement? I'm not ready or I'm not ready for you. And why do we keep accepting the version that protect people's ego? Right? That's that favor, Pastor Louis. That's what it is. That's that. You're right, lovely. There. That's what it is. That's that. That's what it is. I'm not ready. Right. What's the more honest statement? I'm not ready, or I'm not ready for you. And why we keep accepting the versions that protect people's ego. I see I'm not ready for you. Biggie said for you. Can say for you. Right. I see that. Right. I'm not ready for you. I'm not ready for you. Gotcha. Gotcha. What God has for me, I love it. We don't align. I'm not ready for you. I only got a few more questions, guys, and we're gonna get ready to close it out because we had some really good questions, and I thank you all for jumping in the chat because y'all been answering these things, and I know you've been doing a lot of reflecting. If it's no, here we go. Can someone be your person at the wrong time, or does timing just reveal your priority? Hmm. Can someone be your person but at the wrong time? Or does timing reveal priority? Somebody said yes, absolutely. I see yes. Everybody's not for everybody. You're right. They can be at the wrong time. Tamika said. Kelly says possible. right? Wrong time. I see both. Say Sadira say, I think so. Right? Yes. Someone could be your person at the wrong time, Shell. I see you. Somebody say, yes, it's happened. Millie said, you better go grab them if they're your person. They said the right person at the wrong time. You're right. It actually happens. I see it. I see it. Okay. Sometimes God will bring that person around to test your will. True story. I see it. Both. Right. Two more questions. What would have to be true about you for you to admit you are emotionally unavailable in a relationship? Tamika said, come on, person. If you were emotionally unavailable, what are you really saying about you? What would have to be true about you at that moment for you to say you were unemotionally available? What would that mean to you? I'm not healed yet. I'm taking time to heal. Okay. Not here. I'm not ready to let somebody in. Cali girl said. Cap Classic said fear. I'm done with it. Work has consumed me. Not healed. Not willing to be vulnerable, Harper. I see you. Not complete with healing. Not ready. I got you. I'm just not available. Sweet. Oh, Nisha said, I'm not into you. Not interested in that person. Somebody else said the same thing. I have trust issues, trauma. Just got out of a relationship, trusting them, right? Not mature to recognize that as a problem. I don't want to commit to anyone. Not into that person and not ready for a relationship. I love it. I got one last question. And it's about you individually. One last reflection question. I dropped a lot of them tonight, and I got to get one more in. Is it selfish to prioritize your healing over your relationship? Or is it the most loving thing you can do for a potential partner? I'm going to say again, is it actually selfish for you to prioritize your healing over your relationship? Or is it the most loving thing you can do for a potential partner? Not at all. They say, no, it's actually necessary. Mika says it's the most loving thing you can actually do. Say it's not selfish. Absolutely not selfish. Lisa says the most loving thing you can do, right? Stella says it's a must. Loving. You can absolutely make sure you love yourself and take care of other people. Two things can actually be true at the same time. Would you agree? Most loving thing you can do because it's not selfish and it is the most loving thing you can do. Two things can be true at the same time, right? Yes, it's a loving thing, the most loving thing you can do. Good. Hey, listen, y'all, we actually had a good time. I had a good time tonight. Again, we were talking about some real things when it comes to relationships. My hope is that we went through this discussion enough and you guys actually got exactly what you needed out of it when it comes to you as an individual, you being a person ready to date, thinking about where you are in dating, making sure that as you're using all these therapeutic terms that you're not allowing the use of that terminology to keep you from actually dating, to keep you from getting out, blocking your own blessings, right? And then talking about timing. What I don't want is for you all to get out here and allow other people to take advantage of you and who you are as a wonderful individual because you think you're doing the right thing by being in a relationship, but that person is taking the advantage of you, and they are absolutely not looking. Thank you for that, Chasing Sunsets. They're absolutely not looking to pour into you and lock down with you because that ain't how we get down. We're too grown for this. Okay. So again, thank y'all again tonight for staying on here. I know I moved tonight like a podcast, and that was done that way on purpose or what have you. I again thank y'all for continuing to show me the love and support. Thank you for continuing to follow in the videos. Y'all know I'm gonna keep keeping it real and keeping the transparency. Again, if y'all need any help with coaching, I'm starting to fill up. So jump on the website at dlouisv.com, sign up for coaching, and let's get you connected so we can start helping each other out. Right? You all have any questions, you know how to get at me. Most of y'all do. And thank y'all for continuing to show these scam profiles. I mean, just a couple of days ago, it was probably 10 or 11 in one day. There's a lot. Oh, speaking of that, listen, guys, I I don't have a I'm not giving away $200,000. I'm not giving away a car. I ain't asking nobody for money. These scam artists are at work. They working. Remember, like I say, I ain't got but one page. That's D Louis V. I got one page. That's it. I don't have any other pages, no backup pages, no fan pages, no none of that stuff. So y'all, please, please, please be careful. If you think you're talking to me, please make sure you're talking to me. Anybody can use my pictures, unfortunately. You can't stop them. I've reported all number of them. Also, if you notice, I now have blue check marks on my Facebook, my Instagram. Those are there. TikTok's still working on that thing for me or what have you to verify it. But again, I'm here if you all need anything. Thank y'all again for joining the live tonight. And again, I'm always around if you need anything. Please feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate y'all. All right. May you say you received 3 today. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that keeps happening. Y'all welcome. Y'all absolutely welcome. Thank y'all for joining. Don't worry. Next week, I got something spicy for y'all on the next live. So make sure you tune in next Monday at 7. But I needed to get this out first because I'm gonna need to tack on to it next week. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it. Yep, there was a purpose behind the night. I'll be ready to tack on to it on Monday. Good night, good night, good night, Tamika. Appreciate you. Thank you for that, Marilyn. Yeah, report them. Always let me know too, so I can block them from my account because my account has to be public. I can block them and I can keep them from seeing my account. So thank you guys. Always report them. Always let me know. Message me, let me know so I can block them and do my thing on my end too and report them. Yep. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Brenda. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Dr. P, you say your brain was hurt. I'm trying to make you think, Dr. P. Trying to make you think now. That's what it's about, right? For our relationships. We got to do a better job. Peace and blessings to you, Renee, as well. Thank you so much. Yep. We got to do a better job. I just want us to get through all the minutia and the fluff when it's so we can have better relationships, right? We got to quit letting social media tell us what we need and stop getting caught up in all these terms. And then we miss out, we keep missing our blessing because we so caught up in using these terms that don't really mean a damn thing in the relationship, right? Thank you, Monique, for that. Thank y'all for answering the questions. Thank y'all for being transparent. That's what's important. Because that's what this is about, right? It's grown folks conversation. Grown folks conversation is what we do. I'm doing my best, Karen. I'm doing my best. That's right, Miss Goddess. Neither do I. Except me. You can trust me. You can trust me on social media. No, Millie, my TikTok has 76,000. I don't have 7,000. That's a scam. I'm at 76,000. I think it's some change right now. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. That's right, Carol. You won't deserve, you right. You deserve and desire better. So that's why we have to make sure that not only are we ready, right? We know exactly what we're ready for, and we're working through what we need to work through, but we're not being jaded by words. We're not being jaded by terminology. We're not being jaded by any of those things. And we damn sure ain't letting nobody take advantage of us. Miss Goddess, actually, there's more than 6 pages. So far, I have blocked and reported 147 pages. Thank you, Miss Frink. I have reported 147 pages. And they're going to keep on doing it. They're not going to stop, right? They're not going to stop. I know, right? That's what I say, beautiful one. Damn. Yeah, really. 147 I have reported. Every day I look on there, there's 3 or 4 more. So I have to look at that as God must be really finna do something big with me because everybody's trying to imitate me. So yeah, I wish you a week filled with blessings is too, Renee. Yeah, that's right. Don't answer it. Yeah, don't answer. Yep, You got my original. Y'all own the original right now. So, yep. So yeah, Lord must be getting ready to do something amazing because they are really, really creating scam pages all over the place. Thank you, Sharice. I don't know about the goat, but I'm gonna try to do my best. Maxine said, "Can you cover dating after 60 plus?" I can do my best. I'll see what I can come up with for you, Maxine. I'll see what I can come up with. Yep. Thank y'all, guys. I appreciate you. As soon as I told them they were a scam, they immediately deleted you. Of course they did. They gonna delete you because they're afraid they're gonna get reported. And once I block them, they can't see my page anymore. And so that what happens is they have to go out there and start another page. Because as much as I report them, TikTok doesn't take them down. That's right, Leah G, but there's only one. That's me, only one. All right, guys, we at the bottom of the hour now. I appreciate you all again. Listen, I want y'all to have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful and blessed week. Be safe. And this Saturday, when I am out on the bike with the fellas, I plan on going live probably Saturday with a bunch of bikers. It'll be about 30 of us. So I'll go live and it'll just be social, but y'all be on the lookout sometime Saturday evening for me to just pop up on the live. Okay. Anyway, y'all have a good evening. Thank you again for the love and support. And I will continue